moves and the proud students have indeed impressed us.
The Indian independence movement was a culmination of numerous movements led by various people from all across our country. The list of freedom fighters and their contribution is endless. But today, we are here to present before you a few glimpses of our freedom struggle.
We made a tryst with destiny, and now the time comes when we shall redeem our pledge, not wholly or in full measure, but very substantially. At the stroke of midnight hour, when the world sleeps, India will awake to life and freedom. A moment comes, which comes but rarely in history, when we step out from old to new, when an age ends, and when the soul of nation, long suppressed, finds utterance. It is fitting that at this solemn moment we take the pledge of dedication to the service of India and her people and the still larger cause of humanity.
Famous lines from the first speech as the Prime Minister of Independent India by Pandit Nehru. Our tryst with destiny may have ended with the British leaving our country to us, but there are many trysts that we come across during the struggle for independence. The magnitude of the history of India's independence movement is bigger than anyone can imagine. This independence that we take for granted today was an outcome of countless wars waged, sacrifices made, and mass movements taken up to free the country from the clutches of the Britishers. The Indian independence movement was actually a series of anti-colonial events with the ultimate aim of driving the British out of India. It lasted from 1857 to 1947. While the whole struggle would be a little difficult to portray, my friends are here to present before you some key moments from the Indian freedom struggle. I'm sure that when you look back at them, your hearts will be humbled by the enormity of the sacrifices made by our forefathers. We begin with an incident that shook the conscience of the nation. That is the Jallianwala Bagh incident. The sheer brutality of the incident proved to be a turning point in the Indian freedom struggle.
April 1919, a large peaceful crowd had gathered at the Jallianwala Bagh in Amritsar, Punjab, to celebrate Baisakhi and also protest against the Rowlatt Act and the arrest of pro-independence activists Saifuddin Kichlu and Satyapal.
भाइयों और बहनों, आप सबको बैसाखी त्योहार के लिए शुभकामनाएं। आज हम सब यहाँ पर ब्रिटिश रौलत एक्ट के खिलाफ आवाज उठाने के लिए एकत्रित हुए हैं।
The Rowlatt Act or the Black Act was passed on March 1919, authorizing the government to imprison or confine without a trial any person associated with treasonable activities. In response to the public gathering, Brigadier General R.E.H. Dyer had the protesters surrounded by the British Indian Army.
There is a martial law in this area. Are you not aware of it? Soldiers, position! Aim! Open fire!
After blocking the exit with his troops, he ordered them to shoot at the crowd, continuing to fire till the ammunition got over. About 400 to 1500 people were killed and over 1200 other people were injured. This incident shocked Rabindranath Tagore, the first Asian Nobel laureate, to such an extent that he renounced his knighthood. It created the base for the mass movement in the form of non-cooperation movement.
From 1920 to 1922, Gandhi began the non-cooperation movement, a large-scale satyagraha. The non-cooperation movement was a political campaign launched to have Indians revoke their cooperation from the British government with the aim or persuading them to grant self-governance or Purna Swaraj. The non-cooperation movement persuaded all the Indian freedom struggle. It was truly a mass movement in which the British industries and the educational institutions would ultimately fail. Through non-violent means or ahimsa, protesters would refuse to buy British goods and adopt the use of local handicrafts instead.
भारत माता की, भारत माता की, भारत माता की, भारत माता की.
In addition to promoting self-reliance by spinning the khadi, buying Indian-made goods only, and boycotting the British goods, Gandhi's non-cooperation movement called for the restoration of the Khilafat or the Khilafat movement in Turkey and the end to the hideous practice of untouchability.
भाइयों और बहनों, हमें विदेशी वस्तुएं नहीं खरीदनी चाहिए. हमारे भारतीय द्वारा बनाए गए स्वदेशी वस्तुएं खरीदकर उनको प्रोत्साहित करना चाहिए.
It signified a new chapter in the history of the Indian freedom struggle. It was truly a mass movement where lakhs of Indians participated in open protest against the government through peaceful means. It shook the British government, which was stumped by the extent of the movement. However, Gandhi called off the movement due to the Chauri Chaura incident, which saw the death of 22 policemen at the hands of an angry mob, that India would descend into anarchy. Now, let us watch the legend Alluri Sita Rama Raju from the south, who was an Indian revolutionary involved in the Indian independence movement. He was born in present-day Andhra Pradesh.
మన్యం వీరులారా, ఈ అడవి మనది, ఇందులోని కణ కణం మనది, ఎవరి తెల్లదొరలు కాదు అనడానికి ప్రతిఘటిద్దాం. వందే మాతరం.
Stop it, Sita Ramaraju. You all are using the forest resources on which you're not paying tax. Obey the law.
సాధ్యపడదు.
I repeat, obey the law.
సాధ్యపడదు. Therefore,
On the name of Majesty and the British government, I'm here to shoot you. Soldiers, hold him.
నన్ను నువ్వు చంపలేవు. Therefore, ఒక సీతారామరాజు మరణిస్తే లక్షలాది సీతారామరాజులు ఉద్భవిస్తారు. సీతారామరాజు ఒక వ్యక్తి కాదు, సామూహిక శక్తి. అక్కడ కాదు. Therefore, ఇక్కడ. వందే మాతరం, వందే మాతరం, వందే మాతరం.
The Salt March, also known as the Salt Satyagraha, Dandi March, and the Dandi Satyagraha, was an act of non-violent civil disobedience led by Mahatma Gandhi. The 24-day long march was against the British salt monopoly. the British had put a heavy tax on salt. The government not only had a monopoly on the making of salt, they also required anyone who used salt to pay tax. Everyone needed salt in their food, but there were many Indians who couldn't afford to pay the tax. It was a totally unjust law. Gandhi started this march with 78 of his trusted volunteers. This march spanned 385 kilometers from Sabarmati Ashram to Dandi, or known as Navsari at that time. Growing number of Indians joined them along the way. When Gandhi broke the British Raj salt laws, it sparked large-scale acts of civil disobedience against the salt laws by millions of Indians. After making the salt by evaporation at Dandi, Gandhi continued southward along the coast, making salt and addressing meetings on the way.
The Quit India movement or the Bharat Chodo Andolan or the August movement was a civil disobedience movement in India which commenced on 8th August 1942 in response to Gandhi's call for immediate self-rule against sending other Indians into World War II. He asked all teachers to leave their schools and their respective jobs and take part in this movement. Due to Gandhi's popular support, this movement is where Gandhi gave his famous message, "Do or die."
अब समय आ गया है कि उन लोगों को देश छोड़ने का। भारत छोड़ो।